Hello. Welcome to another video. This one is going to be about running events. So this video is obviously mainly for tech coordinators, but it definitely still applies for the chief, because if there's ever an event that the tech coordinator can't run, the chief will likely need to run it. We're going to be going over a bunch of stuff like timesheets, the event calendar, and just most of the types of events you'll run into, most of the generic stuff you'll need. So, let's go over some stuff. Number one, most of the types of events. A lot of the basic events are going to be just setting up mics on stage and having them unmuted, which always means that you're going to have at least one person sitting here watching the mics, making sure they don't feed back, and if they do feed back, usually just like turning down the vocals bus until the feedback goes away, and then slowly turning it back up. Don't turn it down that far, but you get the picture. Okay, lovely. So, light on stage. Obviously right now there is no light on stage. You hit the power button on the lighting board, wait a little bit, and then find the fader that says general, turn that up, and wow, look, there's light on stage. So, if they ever want fancier lighting, call up the lighting chief, or hopefully you have a lighting person running the event with you. I already taught you how to use the projection screens, so basically you're just going to give the person running the event their your email, and then they send you all of the music files, which you're going to want to put into QLab, all of their projections, which you're going to want to put into PowerPoint, videos, also put in PowerPoint, and then test the aux, make sure the aux is working, and then project that bad boy when you're cued, and everything will go great. Slideshow clickers. We used to have a clicker that the person down there could click. It would communicate with this projector up here, and it would click on the slideshow on the screen. We lost it years ago. If you ever find a little black remote with two silver arrow buttons on it, then congratulations, you found it, and you can make life a little easier for yourself. But until then, you're going to have to sit at this board with the booth monitor set up and wait and listen to people saying next slide, and then just hit the arrow key. Lovely. Okay, so setting up mics, super intuitive. I trust you already know how to do that. You're going to grab the mics from that box, grab the batteries from that bin, plug in the batteries into the mics, turn them on, go up here, test their sound levels, always make sure they're muted when you test out signal, then turn their fader all the way down, unmute them, and then talk into the mic as you slowly turn up the fader to a good volume. Remember, you cannot hear anything in the booth. Always assume that things are louder out there and much more quieter for you because you're in here, especially if the windows are closed like they are right now. Lovely, that's mics. Okay, theater calendar. Let me pull this up really quick. So the two tech coordinators, at least that's how it is during my year, there's two of them. The lighting tech coordinator and the sound tech coordinator, along with the production stage manager for company, all have access to the, it's not focusing, the theater use calendar, Whitney Young High School theater events, which is in purple. And basically, it means that you can see all of the events in the theater. Now, what Winkler wants, and what we didn't do this year, but what we absolutely should start doing moving forward, is going into all of these events, which all have little things here. So that's the spring play failure. Let's see. Guitar concert. Lovely guitar concert. You would hit... Some way there's a way to add notes. And you would add a note to that basically saying the people running the event. A list of people who will be running the event and whether or not they're being paid to run that event. Well, I also should talk about pay. But, yes. So yeah, that's the theater tech calendar, which will be shared with the theater tech coordinators and also the production stage manager. I highly recommend that the tech coordinator, if it is not the chief, share the calendar with the chief. Not officially share it because that's illegal, or you'll make Whitney Young mad, but just take photos of it and then send it. However, remember that photos don't always work because the calendar is a living document and events can be added to the calendar by anyone at any time. Especially a week in advance, somebody might add an event on that Saturday, and you kind of just have to deal with that. Pay. Okay, so in order to be signed up to be eligible for pay, it's a long process, but mainly just talk to Winkler. You'll be sent some emails, do what the emails say. In a few weeks, you'll be sent some more emails, do what those emails say, and eventually you'll be sent a fancy little CPS employee account. And then once you have that, once you have your employee ID number, which usually will start with 3 zeros and be a 9-digit number, including the zeros, you can type that into the time clock in the main office, that's punching in. Type it in again, that's punching out. And then for all of those hours, $15 an hour will be paid to a bank account that CPS sets up for you at the end of every 2 weeks on Friday. That is how pay works. Yes, $15 an hour is technically 40 cents less than minimum wage in Chicago. Don't worry about it. Don't question it. If you want to go on strike to get that pay raise, be my guest. It didn't really matter. So there's a lot of events. And I highly recommend the tech coordinator or whoever it is, don't take all of them. Please split them up. Please establish lines of communication with the crew and say, hey, do you want to run these events? If you want to have a sound crew meeting much earlier in the year where you're talking about events and how to run events, and then you can have people run events for you for the rest of the year, oh my God, please do that. That sounds like something I absolutely should have done and would have been very helpful. So yes, that is the majority of pay running events. Oh, if you miss punching out or punching in or punching out, talk to Miss Wright, WRIGHT, in the main office. She'll give you a little timesheet correction form. You fill it out with when you would have punched in or punched out, if you were able to, why you couldn't, and then give it to her and she'll fix it. Lovely. Okay, that's the last thing. Before timesheets. Up here is an example timesheet. There's a bunch of timesheet copies in that little bin right there. What do you need to do on a timesheet? Well, you fill out a timesheet, one per day per person. If there's 3 days of a guitar show, like 2 rehearsals in the show, and you're running it, you have to do 3 timesheets. If there's 2 people running it, you have to do 3 timesheets, and the other person has to do 3 timesheets, 1 for each day. Lovely. Okay. At the top right, your legal name or the name that you get paid under. Second is your employee ID. This is the 9-digit number that starts with 3 zeros. The title of the event. So if it was the guitar show, you would write guitar show. If it was guitar rehearsal, you would write rehearsal or guitar rehearsal. And then the sponsor. Sponsor is important. So guitar show, that would be Mr. Peak, unless Mr. Peak is gone. Because you also need the sponsor's signature down here. If it is an outside rental, there's 2 big types of events. Ones that are ran by Whitney Young teachers and ones that the school rents out the theater for outside people to do. Teacher ones, you're going to be receiving a lot of emails with that teacher. Hopefully you're like on good terms with that teacher. That makes everything way easier. Outside ones, please try to get on good terms with whoever the big professional people are running it, because good connections. And also, if you mess up, the school will probably get on your bottom, because the school is paying those people are paying the school to have the theater, and they expect their money to be put to good use. And so if you are running an event and they paid the school and you're doing a bad job, they're going to get mad at the school's going to get mad at you. You might get fired. So absolutely take extra care when running outside events that aren't being run by Whitney Young teachers. However, the reason I bring this up is if it's an outside event, don't include the sponsor here. Just have the event title, and then you don't need the sponsor's signature. That'll be Winkler if it's an outside event. Date goes here, date goes here. Why is there 2 dates? This is the date that you are filling out the timesheet. This is the date that you worked. Almost always this should be the same day. Winkler once told us to lie. Oh, I should not say that. Somebody random, I don't know who he is, somebody told us to lie and always say that these are the same date. Even if you're filling out the timesheet late, just write that the date you're filling out the timesheet is the same as the date in the comments. Don't know who that guy is, though. Here, let me see if I can get it to focus. This is the time you punched in, your initials, time you punched out, initials. There we go. That's timesheets. Lovely. Okay, we covered the event calendar. Most events are just microphones, mic stands. On stage, you might have to wheel out the podium. To operate the curtains, you go to the pulleys down in left wing. The rope closest to you is always going to close the curtains. The rope farthest from you, pulling down at it, is always going to open the curtains. Closest closes. Lovely. Anything on this screen projects, but there is a whole video on how to use projectors in KeyLab, so I trust you'll remember that. Lovely. Okay, short video. I'm going to try to keep this one under 10 minutes. Yippee. Thanks for watching. Catch y'all on the flip side.